Hi everyone, my name is Kevin Wamsley and I'm the President and Vice Chancellor of Nipissing University. And what a beautiful university it is. We're situated on the traditional territory of the Nipissing First Nation and the Anishinaabe people. But what does that really mean in the context of truth and reconciliation? Many institutions give land acknowledgements, but we really need to understand why they're important and what do they really mean to those institutions and the people in the regions where these institutions are situated. Today we have a couple of special guests. Our first guest is Romeo Fournier. Hello Romeo, how are you?
Good Kevin, it's good to see you.
Very good to see you. So what's your role on campus, Romeo?
I am the Director, Enji, giigdoyang, Office of Indigenous Initiatives. And as part of my role, I oversee the support of our team in creating a safer space, a more welcoming, inclusive space for our Indigenous students, and really upholding that commitment of care to their families and community members. So it's a great honor. So currently our Indigenous population sits at about 450, 460. So of those 460 students, they come from various remote communities, but locally as well, serving specifically Nipissing First Nation, but also Dokis First Nation.
We started out with a land acknowledgement and really asking the question, what does it mean? What does it mean when we give a land acknowledgement at Nipissing University?
That's a great question. Land acknowledgements as a whole tend to be a recognition of a commitment that institutions have toward upholding the calls of action in the TRC. And so specifically in Nipissing University, our land acknowledgement is really an acknowledgement of our place, our space, and our time, recognizing that we are privileged and honored to share this space with our Indigenous partners and stakeholders, specifically again Nipissing First Nation.
And speaking within the context of truth and reconciliation, we have to see that we're not just repeating statements, we are actually taking concrete steps. We're taking actions that we think that are important to make Nipissing University very welcoming. And so with that in mind, in the background, I'm very excited to see that we have a tipi on campus.
Absolutely, yeah, and I like what you said regarding truth and reconciliation. I'd like to think that one of the things that sets Nipissing University apart is our action-based approach toward the TRC. So reconciliation, essentially. So making sure that we're not only putting words on paper, not only putting out media releases or words to community, but really making sure that those words are upheld in our actions and in our everyday existence here on this campus, here on these lands.
And these things will be a fundamental part of what Nipissing University is in the future. So I think this is a wonderful step. And what will we use the tipi for?
The tipi is not only a symbol to our Indigenous students and community, but it's really a sacred space, an outdoor learning space, to be essentially looked at as a classroom. It is a space where not only Indigenous students, but all students can come to learn, to sit with elders, faculty, in a space that is decolonial in nature, but really also grounded in Indigenous knowledge systems and Indigenous ways of knowing. So it's more than an outdoor teaching space, but can be seen as an alternative space towards some of our more traditional colonial ways of knowing.
So who can use it?
Anybody, I guess, is the short answer, but if anyone is looking to engage in the space or wants more information, we encourage them to visit the Office of Indigenous Initiatives. We have a number of elders and team members that are eager to work with staff, students, faculty to introduce them to the space and how it can be used in a respectful, appropriate manner.
Wonderful. Well, with that in mind, let's use the space. Hey, Tori, how are you?
On in.
I wonder if you
good.
could
You?
introduce yourself, tell us who you are and where you're from.
Absolutely. So, Onin Bojo, Waswabik, Dijnakaz, giigdoyang, Mon Basing, King, and Dayan. So, my name is Tori Fisher. I'm from Nipissing First Nation, and I'm from the Fisher clan.
So pleased to welcome you to our segment today. And Tori, are you a graduate of Nipissing University?
Yep. So, I just recently graduated from here with my Master's of Education.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
So I'd like to talk to you about the tipi. I was so happy to drive on campus and see the tipi here, and it really gave me a warm feeling. I couldn't explain it. I wonder if you could explain to me, as I've given a land acknowledgement that talks about the traditional territory of the Nipissing First Nation and what it means. And if you could characterize that for me the land acknowledgement, and what seeing this teepee on campus means to you.
Yeah, I think it's for myself, as I'm from Nipissing First Nation, and as a student here as well too, or past graduate, is being able to see a little bit of home here. I think it's one step to reconciliation.
I think it's so important that we need to listen to our students, our staff, and our faculty members. We need to change universities to make them welcoming, to make people feel like they're at home when they're here. So Tori, I was very excited to hear not only that we are going to bring a teepee to campus, but it was going to be constructed locally and supported locally. And you were involved with that.
Yeah.
I wonder if you could tell us what was the process in collecting materials and building the teepee?
Yeah, so my Uncle Dan was actually one of the ones who harvested the poles. And he's actually one who's taught us how to do all this work here. So my cousin Blair Bocage and I, we got the honor of putting up the teepee. So we got to bring the poles over, bring the canvas over, and we had Nipissing University staff come out on that day, and it was nice because we got to tell them what to do. No, just kidding. But we had a really good day. The sun was really nice. One of the things about building it right here is it's one of the first things that you see when you come into the university. So we put our doorway. We always put it facing the east. So it was nice because that road is facing the east, and so the doorway. So when you're actually driving in, you could see see the teepee, and you could see right into the teepee as you're driving in. So we had constructed this teepee with all of us, and yeah, so it turned out really nice. So
you've probably heard us in speeches, etc., talking about how university and post-secondary education is a community builder. But I think the way of the future is just as you've outlined, the community builds the university. So yeah. I think based on that, these are some very good steps that we've taken, I hope, and I think that we've got a very bright future.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree.
I want to thank you, Miigwech, for being with us here today, Tori.
Yeah, absolutely, Miigwech.
And that's all for today's session. I'd like to say Bon Appetit. Until next time. This is your Nipissing University.